Deadline Funnel. It's a piece of software that can really be transformative for your business. If you want to create more conversions, get more sales of your online course or digital offer, this piece of software can really do it for you. So in today's video, I'm going to talk you through how I use Deadline Funnel in my business. And then we're going to take you behind the scenes and give you some really good tech tutorials so that you can set up Deadline Funnel for your own business. Hi, I'm Gemma Bonham-Carter. I help entrepreneurs create, launch, and scale their online courses so that they can build their dream businesses. All right, Deadline Funnel. Let's dive into this piece of software. Now, what Deadline Funnel is really useful for is when you are ready to create evergreen funnels in your business. So this means that you are setting up an email campaign, a funnel that is running in an automated way without you there. This is not for live launching. This is something that's going on 24/7 in your business so that you can get sales and welcome new students into your program every day. And what Deadline Funnel does, the way it works with evergreen funnels, is that it allows you to create urgency in your evergreen campaigns that depend on when someone entered your funnel. So when you're live launching, it's easy to have, let's say, a date where you're closing the cart, or you have bonuses that are going to expire on a certain day at the end of your promotion. And it's easy because it all lands on one day. But when you have an evergreen funnel built out for your business, it's happening all the time. And so people could be coming into your funnel, say on Monday. Lucy could come into your funnel on Monday. Matthew could come in on Thursday, and they're both going to have different end dates, different dates where the promotion needs to expire. And so whether that promotion is that you close your doors at the end of the funnel, or a price discount goes away, like it's only available for 5 days or 7 days and then it goes away, or you might have bonuses that you're using to create urgency in your funnel that then go away at the end of the 5 days, 7 days, whatever that looks like. Deadline Funnel is the piece of software that allows you to have those custom end dates based on when someone came into your funnel. So it means that, Lucy coming in on Monday and Matthew coming in on Thursday, they're going to have different dates by which those things expire in your funnel. So it sounds kind of complicated, and I will admit it's one of the more tricky softwares to set up in my experience. But once you've set it up once and you've created your funnel once, it's something that you can set it and forget it. It just runs on autopilot without you. So I use Deadline Funnel in my own business. I have several different evergreen email campaigns set up to sell some of my offers. And the way I use Deadline Funnel is I have bonuses that expire at the end of that funnel. So if someone doesn't join by a certain time, they no longer get access to those bonuses. So that's how I like to use it. You can use it for price urgency or for doors closing. However you want to use it, you got to kind of see the back end of it to understand how it's set up. So let's switch on over into tech tutorial mode now.
All right, so here we are in Deadline Funnel. I just went up to campaigns and clicked on create new campaign, and this is the page that pops up. Now I'm going to give this campaign a name so that nobody else sees this, but I do, so I know what it is referring to. And category, you can create categories in Deadline Funnel. Over here, you can get all sophisticated and have a bunch of different categories if it makes sense for you. I really don't use Deadline Funnel enough to have a bunch of different categories. I think if you had over 10 Deadline Funnels running, then you might want to start to get organized with your categories. But I just have the one, the GBC Deadline Funnel. And for me, I've already gone through the motions of connecting my email service provider, which is ActiveCampaign. But you can see here that they integrate with pretty well every email service provider out there. So when you are doing this for the first time, what you need to do is usually, they'll take you through the process of usually going to get your API key from your email service provider and then pasting it here into Deadline Funnel. Basically, it means they can then speak to one another. They're connected. So obviously, I'm not going to go through that for each different type of email service provider here. You can do that for the one that makes sense for you. And then similarly, for landing page builders, you can see it's the same thing. Select the landing page builder you're using with this campaign, and you're going to go ahead and select where you build the landing page. And the landing page here is going to refer to your webinar registration page. So wherever you have built out your webinar registration page, that is where you are going to, that's the platform you want to connect here, because ultimately what we're saying is, okay, when someone signs up for our evergreen webinar, the deadline funnel starts and kind of like the countdown starts at that time. So these are the platforms where in all likelihood you're going to have your webinar registration page. And you can see it's why they've got like Ever Webinar and Easy Webinar right here up at the top, is because people use Deadline Funnel for evergreen webinar funnels all the time. Mine happens to be on Lead Pages right now. In the future, maybe I'll move it over to WordPress. I've been trying to kind of move a lot of my stuff just back onto my regular site. But for now, my page is built out on Lead Pages. And so I've already gone through the motions of connecting my personal Lead Pages account through, I believe that was like through the API key as well. Okay, so once you've done those two things, then you're going to come here and click next. All right, so now we're in the blueprint section, and you can see there's lots of different options here of the different types of funnels that Deadline Funnel sort of lays out for you. So we want to choose the automated webinar option here for Blueprint. So you just select it and then click on next. If you didn't have a webinar, if you were just doing an email-based funnel, then you would choose this one up here where you're just setting up an automated email sequence that presents, each of your subscribers with that unique deadline. But in this case, we're doing an evergreen webinar. So we're going to come to next. Now, what's the name of the custom field where you want to store each subscriber's deadline for this campaign? This is not terribly important. I just have always called mine. This is just what's going to be referenced for your what's called like a webhook. And I've just always named mine based on the offer. So I just always have called it Deadline Funnel dash, like the name of my offer. And then what they're doing here is they're giving you what's called a webhook. So what they want you to do is paste this webhook. Now they are saying into my active campaign automation, because up here in overview, I told them I was using active campaign, but if I had been using ConvertKit or Flowdesk or some other different type of thing up here, it would have said into your ConvertKit automation, wherever you want the deadline to begin for your subscriber. So anytime where it says need help, you can click on these and get way more information. Deadline Funnel, like they know that this is not terribly straightforward and that it's kind of a challenging software for a lot of people to use. So they have help tutorials coming out the wazoo and like have so many articles. So you can always click on these. So ultimately what you're going to do here is copy the URL of this webhook. This is obviously just going to be for mine. And I have my automation here open. Now I haven't actually created this at all yet. I've just started a new automation. I said, okay, when the tag CCS Evergreen Webinar is added, registered attendee, that's like the nomenclature I use, is I always have the initials of my offer. So it's like Course Creator School, it could be the Passive Project. In the past, I used to have Launch Your Shop. And then I say Evergreen Webinar, so I know what it is. And then I put registered attendee. So I always add that tag when somebody registers for my webinar. So here is where I would add the webhook. So when you click on the plus sign, now whatever email service provider you're using, it's probably going to look a little different, right? This whole thing might look a little different. This is just Active Campaigns kind of look and feel. I've used ConvertKit and it's relatively similar. So you may want to read the articles about how to integrate with your specific email service provider if you get stuck on anything. But ultimately, you're trying to look for webhook. It should say webhook. And so all you do there is paste in the webhook that we copied and click save. And what happens is at this point in time, they speak to each other. Like Deadline Funnel and Active Campaign, when somebody is registered for the webinar, this is what's making them connect. So we'll come back over here to Deadline Funnel. So we've done this integration now, so we can click on next. And here is where you are choosing how long your deadline is going to be. So if your evergreen funnel is going to be 3 days or 5 days or 10 days, this is where you're going to put that information in. I actually don't know quite how long mine's going to be at this time, but I'm going to probably guess, I'm going to say 5 days. And you can adjust here the time at which it expires. And if you prefer it to be in a different time zone, like mine's set to Eastern time, but you could set it to Pacific time or whatever makes sense for you. And here they're just showing you like an example of, you know, how if somebody started on July 1st, theirs would end on July 6th. If somebody started on the 2nd, theirs would end on July 7th, like just kind of giving you an example there. So then you click on next. Now we're getting into pages. So the page, this is where a timer is going to be displayed and where it's going, like that's the page that's going to redirect when their timer runs out. So this is going to be your sales page, right? Because you want that timer to show up on your sales page. And then once their unique opportunity to hop into your course has ended, they're going to get redirected to a waitlist page. So you know what? I don't actually have these all ready to go yet. So I'm just going to those aren't actually accurate yet, but that's okay. And then if you wanted to add another page, now this would relate to if, let's say you have your masterclass replay, like your webinar replay on another page that you also want to expire at the end of that funnel, you could just click on add a new page and pop it there too. So you can have the same deadline funnel be showing up on a couple of pages and have both of those pages expire. So then I'm going to click finish. And this is where it is taking us to further details in this campaign. So here is my API integration with Active Campaign. What's nice is all of these videos here are like your help videos. So this is going to be different for each email service provider. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause this video. I'm going to complete this task and so that I can come back here and mark it complete. But when you're setting this up, you may or may not have Active Campaign. You might be using ConvertKit or Flowdesk or some other kind of email service provider. So I'm just going to go ahead and pause this video and complete this and then come back and finish it up. So I have double checked that my API integration is all good there. So I clicked on just mark complete. And then now step number 2 is to update my email links. So the idea here is that we're going to actually get custom URLs from Deadline Funnel that we're going to use in our emails instead of just using our regular sales page URL or webinar replay page URL. And the reason is because that way we know that the Deadline Funnel timer is working for each person's unique spot, right, in the funnel. So if you click on setup here, it's going to allow us to get a timer. And so what we can do is we can click on edit appearance and you can have fun playing around in here, changing up, you know, if you want this template or like they've got loads to choose from. I kind of like that one. I'll save selection. We can change out the colors so you can make it more like on brand for you. I tend to be in this kind of color range. And then you can check, yeah, different, like if you want different fonts here. Oh, that's cool. There you go. So if you actually aren't an English speaker, I didn't even know they did that now. You could put the word in. So I put in jour if I was a French speaker. You can change the language there. And then, yeah, this is like what's going to show up if their timer has expired. So you can either upload your own images that just say like, whoops, sorry, this is expired, or whatever you want, or use one of theirs. Like, and you can also just show nothing. So in the place of where a timer might have been in an email, if it's clicked on after the timer has finished, it'll just be a blank space. That's often what I've done in the past. I find these kind of big. Maybe one day I should just like make my own. So I think for now I'm just going to say show nothing. And then I can just click save and exit. But this code here is then what I will stick into my emails to give me a timer. And then if I scroll up, this is the email setup. So the idea here is instead of putting my sales page URL in my emails, this is the URL I'm going to copy that's going to point to this URL, but it's going to make sure that the deadline funnel tracking is in there. So what I always do when I set up this deadline funnel is I copy this information. Like I'll copy my email link and I'll copy my timer code, and I actually just stick it into a Google Doc that contains all of my links for my entire funnel. So I'll have like my webinar registration page, the thank you page, the replay page, the sales page, the checkout page. I'll have all of those URLs in one Google Doc. And I will also put these from Deadline Funnel so that I don't have to come back in here and fiddle around with this. I can just set it up once and have the links and always come back and refer to them if I need to for some reason. All right, so I've come back here to this quick start area. I find that it's easy to just kind of get lost in these sections. So I like to come back to quick start because they have this handy little checklist. So what we've done is we updated our email links. So we went in and got that email link URL for all of our emails. So we can click on mark complete. And then we added our timer. We actually went in and edited the timer so that we could create the look and feel that we wanted for our timer. And we copied the URL. And if you're putting it inside of an email, it's simply embedding that we didn't copy the URL, we copied the HTML code. And when you're creating an email, you're just going to paste in your HTML code into your email. And so they're giving me a sample tutorial here of how to do that inside of ActiveCampaign, but this should pop up for you with whatever email service provider you use. So it'll take you through how to actually embed that in an email if that's something you're stuck on. But it's simply a matter of embedding some HTML in the email. So I'm going to write mark complete. I love a checklist, so I'm always happy that they have this up here at the quick start so that I can be sure that I've done all the things. Okay, so the next is setting up your sales tracking. So this is so that deadline funnel, can update the quantity remaining whenever a sale is made. So this is, let's just come in here. This is going to be where once you have people coming into your funnel and they have purchased, you're going to start to see like this. If you go into any, if I were to go into my past campaigns, you would see actually people's email addresses here and those who purchased here. Obviously I don't have any because I haven't even created this funnel yet. So if we click on start setup, interesting. This is newer since the last time I set this up. So what you would need to do here is select the currency of your program, put in the dollar amount, and then it's the same idea of posting the webhook into your automation so that when a sales happens, a new tag is applied. And then so the tag is going to be like customer, whatever. But I actually already have that set up, not through DeadlineFunnel. So I have it set up so that when they purchase, I have ThriveCart connected so that when they purchase through ThriveCart, which is my checkout software, but you might have your checkout software on Teachery, on Podia, on Kajabi, on Teachable, on whatever you use, it triggers in, for me, ActiveCampaign, but for you, it might be triggering in ConvertKit. I already have a trigger there that tells my email service provider, hey, add this tag of like customer. So I'll have CCS customer, that tag that gets applied as soon as a purchase is made. So I'm not actually sure if you have to do this as well. If you have to create that, if you have to go through this process with DeadlineFunnel. Yeah, I will do this for mine. I can always come back in here and let you know if I didn't need to, but I will go ahead and do this with mine for ActiveCampaign, but you would do this for whichever email service provider you use. Just follow these same steps. So the next thing I wanted to show you inside of this sort of dashboard, instead of on this checklist, if you come on here to the left, this is kind of like your main, almost kind of like your navigation menu. And I just wanted to take you through it. So when you click on pages, this is where if ever you needed to, yeah, it's giving me that because, okay, I need to go, yeah, that's not even a real page yet, but I need to go and embed the tracking code onto that page inside of Lead Pages or WordPress. This is built out for me on WordPress, but that's really handy that pops up because then you can click on learn more and it'll tell you exactly how to do that. But this is where you can, like, if you then also, so this is my sales page, but if I also wanted a deadline timer on my webinar replay page, I can click add a new page and just add it right in here and select, whether I want the timer. Inline timer means that it kind of shows up at the bottom of the screen. It's like fixed, and a floating timer is that one that shows up at the bottom of the screen as you scroll through. So I'm just going to click cancel because I don't actually want to do that right now, but I just want to show you that that's how you can add a new page to your overall DeadlineFunnel campaign. Emails, we've been in here before, but this is if you need to come back in here and grab that link for your sales emails or grab the HTML code for your timer. It's right in there. I'm going to skip over appearance for a sec because I want to show you these other things. Settings this has a lot. So this is where you can come in here and adjust the length of your funnel, change time zone stuff. Again, like this, it gets back to setting up our email service provider and our landing page builder, those categories again, and this tracking pixel. Yeah, there you go. So just if you need to come in here and edit any of these things, that's where that's found. And then testing is where once you put yourself through, like I encourage anytime you're setting up a new funnel, get yourself and maybe like a friend or your partner or your mom or anybody to sign up for your evergreen webinar so that you can test to make sure that everything is working and showing up as it should be. And so you will be able to come in here and see any testing details. This is also, I come in here often because if I've tested something, then the page will automatically redirect on my browser and I won't be able to get back to my sales page because my timer has run out. And so I'll often have to come in here and clear the tracking just on my own computer so I can get back to my sales page without it redirecting to the waitlist URL. And I don't actually use this like team testing link, but that's kind of interesting that they've got it there. I just tested the old fashioned way of like going through the funnel. All right, so the next thing I wanted to show you is this appearance button. When we click on this, this actually allows us to edit the actual floating timer that shows up on our sales page or any page that we've put into our campaign. Now, again, there are templates here, so you can like get, you can totally go through all of these different, you could do custom colors if you wanted to. Lots of different options here. You can, there you go. You can add your custom avatar, I guess, right there. You can choose whether or not you want it to be full width or not full width. And then the content, this is where you can actually change what this says. I never leave it as this text because it feels so not personal. I would change it to something like, something like that. And just don't delete this part, deadline text, because that is what is inputting their specific end date and time. This is going to be unique to the person inside of your funnel. So you always want to leave that part there. And this piece, enable call to action, this is this button. Now you can choose to have the button or not. You can just have it be off and have it be a countdown timer and usually this page would show it's saying that because the page just simply doesn't exist on my website yet. Usually when you're in this preview, it'll actually show you the web page that you want to do it on. But sometimes I click this, like I keep this off because they can scroll on my sales page and my buttons are right there to go to the checkout page. So if you want to do it that way, you can, or you can have this button on, which again, I tend to change out the wording, and in this section, where they have this like pound key is where you need to put your actual checkout link. So, it would be like, this isn't my actual link. I'll just put this for now, but this would be for me, it's my Thrive cart link, which goes to like the checkout page. And do you want it to open in a new window? Yes or no? Yeah, invalid URL. I know. And then placement, this is where you can choose if you want it smaller, you want just the timer, 100% width, and whether you want it at the bottom or the top. It's kind of up to you. I tend to keep mine at the bottom. I don't really know why. I think it's just personal preference. Yeah, placement and then presets. So presets would just be like if you've done this before and you have a preset from a previous one so that you don't need to go in and change all the details. You just want to copy it. You could use that. So settings, again, lots of options here on how it can be shown. So do you want it to show up right away on your sales page? Do you want it to come after a little bit of time? Do you want that brand? I always turn the branding off. These are all different options. So, hiding the days. That would be specifically for, let's say your timer is only for 20 minutes. Like if this is a fast action, you need to decide in the next 20 minutes if you want this offer or not, you would be clicking off on that. So that's settings. And then again, they're giving you an option here to translate into the language of your choice. So I am just going to edit without saving those changes. But that is appearance right here. So you can really edit things. So then the last thing is to come on back to the quick start guide and just run through a test. So this last option, before your campaign goes live, be sure to run a few tests to make sure everything is working as expected. And if you click on setup here, it takes you to this testing section so that you can this is where tracking will start to show up when you run through the test. So what I would do at this point of setting things up is head on back to my webinar registration page and enter my name and email address in there and run through everything and make sure that, not only does the deadline funnel timer show up on the right pages and everything redirects to the right spots, but also just that the emails get sent at the right time, that everything flows as it should. I know that one time I was watching an evergreen webinar. I knew it was an evergreen webinar because I understand how these things work, but a lot of audience members don't, right? And the email of, thanks so much for watching. Here's my offer. Like, it's the email that's supposed to come after the class. It arrived in my inbox like 5 minutes after I joined the webinar. Like, I had just started watching it and the email came while I was still watching it. And so I didn't mind because I knew, but that's just an example of, if that happens on your funnel, it's not the end of the world. But at the same time, if you can fix it so that everything, just test things beforehand so that everything arrives when it should, it just won't come off as being a bit weird for your audience, right? You don't want them to be like, hang on a second. Why are you sending me this email that says, what a great class, when I'm literally watching you right now and you're still in your introduction? Like, it didn't jive. So running through a test is really important of your funnel before you hit that live button. But that's the back end of Deadline Funnel. And then you can come on back in here and, look through your campaigns. You can look at analytics. Again, they have lots of help articles and more. Like, they've got tons of videos in here too of how to connect Deadline Funnel to pretty much every software out there, both email softwares and landing page softwares. So if you haven't been able to, if you're getting stuck on something, know that there is so much in their help directory already. And this tracking code is an important piece. So this has your code for whether it's popping it onto your landing page or so when I click on tracking code here, this is I need to copy this code here and make sure that I've added it to any page or website that I want to use Deadline Funnel on. So my sales page, my webinar replay page, I'm going to make sure that this code is pasted into this section where I can pop that in on those builders. It's going to obviously, whether you use Squarespace or WordPress or lead pages, there's going to be kind of a different way of embedding code. And if you're stuck on that, whatever you use, Deadline Funnel has a video to help you. So I encourage you to come on over here to the Learn section if you get stuck. The other thing is this little box is amazing. And I have had lots of conversations before with the Deadline Funnel help team. And I can just click on, you can see I've had, previous discussions. You can, use the help desk to get your answers, and they pop into your email. If you can't, if you're just wanting to ask a question, then walk away from your computer, you don't have to stay in the live chat. They'll actually come into your email inbox. So that is it for Deadline Funnel.
All right, there you have it. I hope that was helpful. If you want to sign up for Deadline Funnel, I've included the link below this video. You can get started and start setting this up in your own business and see the effect that it has on your conversion rate. Because my guess is it's going to be bumping up your conversion rate the more you can build in some of those pieces of urgency into your funnel. Now, I have a freebie for you that I think you're going to love. I have my email funnel maps. And so what this is this is a PDF guide where I've actually kind of drawn out some of the different email funnels that I've used in my business that you can totally copy and use in yours. I know people are always asking me, Gemma, how many emails do I send? When do I send them? How does this all work together? And that's what I've done in these funnel maps. So if you click the link below, you can get your own copy sent straight to your email inbox. And if you're interested in joining my membership community where we talk about all things funnels and scaling our online course businesses, this is a membership specifically for experienced course creators. You're going to want to head to the Passive Project. The link is below this video. It is an incredible opportunity for you to jump into this membership with me where I give monthly group coaching calls. We have experts come in and you get an entire course of material on how to really set up funnels in your business so that you can start scaling. All right, that's it for me in this one. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss a video. I will see you next time.